recording. Drowsy driving. One of the 4 Ds. Drowsy driving. It kills, but it is preventable. So getting a good night's sleep. I don't feel right sitting down. I'm going to stand up. Sorry. Feels weird. But we're going to talk about ways to help prevent some drowsy driving. Some of the factors about the crashes that occur for drowsy drivers, and then also some tips to help combat your drowsy driving. Where? It's going to be really dark in here.
Whoa, it is really dark. Okay, no, it's not dark.
Yeah.
Sorry.
What turns some of it down?
Go to sleep.
You can. It's one switch.
Crazy drive.
Hold on.
I just turn it off. It's needy. Just turn it off.
A drowsy driver can start to fall asleep at the wheel and cause a crash. If you find yourself feeling drowsy behind the wheel, find a safe place to pull over and take a break. Talk with your healthcare provider to see what treatments are available for your sleep apnea. One common treatment is to use a CPAP machine that helps you breathe while you sleep. These treatments can take up to several weeks to make a difference. To continue driving safely, you must follow your healthcare provider's treatment recommendations. Stopping treatment, even for one day, can make driving less safe. You can overcome sleep apnea. Stay safe, for yourself and for others on the road.
So I know sleep apnea is a big one that's on our DOT physicals. Big highlight of the feds decided that it's a big problem, and it can be because it will help you, it will cause you to fall asleep and you won't really realize it so much. The cost of drowsy driving affects our health, safety, and our quality of life. Our modern lifestyle with emphasis on work, longer commutes, having technology in our life 24/7 kind of all leads to us staying awake. And how many of you found yourself, late at night scrolling through social media, other stuff, instead of trying to get a good night's sleep? 91,000 police reported injuries and crashes from attributed to drowsy driving, as well as 50,000 injuries. And that's, I want to say 2022 statistics, I believe. It is the 4th D of the 4 Ds. So drunk, drugged, distracted, and drowsy are the 4 Ds. We'll probably do a training on the 4 Ds next year. Midnight, 6 a.m., and also late afternoon, they usually say about 2 to 4 are some of the highest frequency of drowsy driving incidents. So that 2 to 4 is right there at our peak afternoon route time when we're all out on the road. It kind of has to do with our natural, normal circadian rhythm, and it's sort of when it dips down. Most accidents are single drivers running off the road. I guess we're a single driver, we're just not by ourselves. And they also have a higher rate of occurrence on rural roads and highways, which is our school district. Tips to drive alert: adequate sleep. So putting that phone down at night, turning the computer off, getting rid of those distractions at night that are keeping you awake, TV.
Husband snoring.
Yeah, kick them outside. Put them on the sofa. Yeah. Teens. Sorry, need my notes. So teens are more likely to be drowsy. So that's on there because a lot of places we go, you're going to have teenage drivers possibly leaving for school on their routes. We're going to see them at the school zones as we're coming in. Avoiding alcohol before driving. Yeah, it's going to make you drowsy. Also, driving a commercial vehicle is definitely a big no-go. We're not supposed to consume any alcohol 8 hours before our work time. So shouldn't be a problem, hopefully. Check all your prescriptions and over-the-counter drugs for the potential of interactions, drowsiness. Like I when I train all our new people, is let your doctor know that you're going to be driving a commercial vehicle, so when they write you prescriptions, they're aware of that, so they know to hopefully maybe avoid some of the medications that are more likely to make you drowsy. Stay vigilant. So during those peak periods, like I said, 6 a.m. is kind of only a few routes on the road, but at 2 to 4 in the afternoon, be alert for those drowsy drivers. Somebody kind of veering across the yellow lines coming at you. Coffee. They only really give you a short-lived alertness. So if you are really tired and drowsy, it's just gonna put it out maybe another 20 minutes before you start to get tired again. Yeah, that's just my training. It's okay. Short naps. So even a 20-minute nap during the day can help eliminate some of the drowsiness. I know many of us may not have that opportunity, but it's just something to keep in mind. If you can get a short nap in during the day, I know one of our drivers has a sleeping bag and he likes to take a nap in his bus.
Is that where he's at right now?
Well, potentially. I'd have to go look at my office and see if the sleeping bag's still there. Because I pulled it out of the bus because it was driving me crazy. I was stuffed in behind the seat and I couldn't push the seat all the way back. So, some medicines that might affect driving. So your antipsychotic medicines, anti-seizure, diet pills, motion sickness pills, so Dramamine, ones like that, muscle relaxants, surprisingly, opioids, sleeping pills. The thing about sleeping pills, even if you take them the night before, they can still affect you the next morning and cause you to be drowsy, so you need to be aware of that if you're taking a sleeping aid of some sort. Antidepressants, cold remedies. Oh, no. Don't give away the answers. All right, we're going to have some fun interaction now, right? We're going to do a quick little on-screen true or false drowsy driving quiz. There is no relationship between one's sleep and work schedule and risk of being involved in a drowsy driving crash. True or false?
False.
The red ones.
False. Good job, False. Working the night shift does not affect one's chance of being involved in a sleep-related crash. Good job. The largest at-risk group for sleep-related crashes is commercial drivers.
False.
Good job.
There's a pattern on it.
Overall, sleep-related crashes have certain characteristics that set them apart from other types of crashes. Broke the pattern.
Broke the pattern.
People with sleep and breathing disorder called obstructive sleep apnea have about the same risk as the rest of the general population of being involved in a drowsy driving crash.
False.
Man, you guys are so smart. Eating a big lunch tends to make everyone sleep.
It makes you drowsy, doesn't make you sleep necessarily.
I wanted to
So their official answer is false, but we've all kind of had that little dip after eating. Also depends what you eat, like turkey with the, what's that?
Tryptophan.
Tryptophan, yeah, that's it. Can make you a little drowsy for sure. People can usually tell when they're going to fall asleep. That is false. So there's micro naps where you can fall asleep for like 3 or 4 seconds and not even realize it. One of the key things, and I know this has happened to me, not so much with buses, hopefully, not that I can remember, but driving home maybe after a late work when I used to work nights, you'd get home and you'd be like, I don't remember the drive home. You definitely know you really weren't paying attention. Drivers in drowsy driving crashes are more likely to report sleep problems.
No, you would not want people to know that. Yeah.
commercial drivers, no. So we do everything we can to avoid like the sleep test. At least I have. I've had a few times I've gone in. They're like, "Have you ever done a sleep test?" And I'm like, "No." And then they ask, "Well, do you ever feel tired during the day?" No. So. Oh. Okay. I hit it. Rolling down a window or singing along with the radio while driving will help keep someone awake, especially on a late night field trip.
Well, what happens? The window goes off the winter window.
It does say false, so it's kind of like the whole coffee thing. It will help a little bit, and it does. It kind of peps you up a little bit, but it's just very short-lived, and it's going to come back, and you're just going to be tired.
If you stay slapping
Need a
yourself in the
different
face,
song.
might help.
That would-
No,
Wake up! Wake up, dude.
I used to drive back from North Dakota and I'd be tired because you'd work all day and then leave. I'd roll down my window and had my heater off. Guys would quit riding with me.
I mean, it does help. We've all been there where you're like, man, I'm tired, so you roll down a window and that fresh, cool air, it does boost you up a little bit. But again, it's like the coffee. It's just sort of only
Temporary.
covering the symptoms of your drowsiness. It's not fixing the problem. Wandering, disconnected thoughts are a warning sign of driver fatigue or ADHD. Sorry, I added that in there. I must be tired all the time. You can stockpile sleep on the weekends to avoid being sleepy during the week.
I wish that was true.
I know. That is false. They do talk about a sleep debt, though. Nothing I read, but I've seen reports about sleep debt where you eventually need to make up the sleep that you're missing if you're doing a lot during the week. But you can't stockpile it like a bank. I'm a safe driver, so it doesn't matter if I'm sleepy. That is false. Good job. All right, now on to the other D, distracted driving. We're going to get through this really fast. That's what we get for not having James here. Good morning. Hey, that's in there. So we do drive with distractions because we got a whole bunch of kids behind us, a classroom or two full of kids. I really like the perspective that Dr. Meyer put in there, beginning of the year, where she talked about I couldn't imagine driving with two classrooms of kid behind us, which if you think about it, our classroom average size is probably between 20 and 30, if I had to guess. And we've got routes that have got 50 kids, 60 kids on there. It's two classrooms of kids that you have to try and maintain control of while you're driving down the road. But at 55 miles per hour, sending or reading a text is like driving the length of a football field with your eyes closed. Something to kind of add on top of that, the tablet. While we're driving down the road, we want to be mindful how we're interacting with our bus ride tablet. It's better to do it at the stops. So when you stop at one stop, make sure the tablet is set for the next stop before you drive away. Or if you have to, if you really don't know what's going on, find a safe place to pull over on the road rather than driving down the road and trying to play with that tablet and not paying attention to what's going on. But you want to keep your hands on the wheel, both of them. He's not here. And your eyes on the roadway. And sometimes on the kids. Oops. Oh, come on. Please work. I went too far. Go back. Seriously.
You can do it.
I know. Well, I clicked too far and I set the. Oh. All right. Let's.
Now we're not gonna get through it.
Yeah.
No, I gotta use some time up here. No, since I've had so many problems with videos, I set them to play by themselves, but I clicked through this one and it didn't want to play.
Distracted driving is dangerous, but some people just can't seem to help themselves. There's the steering wheel propper, the sneaker peeker, the fast roller, the night lighter. And it's not long until they become the fender benderer, the got a ticketer, the veering off the road, the driver who kills someone. Enough with the phones already. Just put them down.
So I'm sure most of you don't use your cell phone when you're driving, right? That's good. But how many of us have seen the other drivers out there on the roadway driving down the road like this, in their lap, all those little different things they're doing where they're looking like this, playing on their phones, doing all that every day. It's terrible. They have posted the signs now coming in and out of town and other places about hands-free driving, because it's more recent in Idaho that we only passed a hands-free law for all drivers. I hope they start an enforcement period soon where they kind of start pulling people over and reminding them, hey, you're not supposed to do that, but we'll see what happens. So visual distractions, that would be taking your eyes off the roadway. We do have to do that occasionally. You might have a deer that wants to pop out on the side of the road, a moose, mountain lion, kids. Manual distractions is taking your hands off the wheel, so that's anytime we go to use the two-way radio. So we always want, that's why we want to keep it to a minimum, because you're distracting yourself above and beyond what is normal. Adjusting your AM, FM radio. Cognitive is taking your mind off driving, and that also plays into that drowsy driving a little bit, because if you are tired, your mind is more likely to wander, so then you're not paying attention to your vehicle and your driving. And then the auditory, any noise that takes our attention away from driving. We've all had that one kid in the back who yells, and you're like, what's going on? And that definitely is a little distraction, you know. So all things to keep in mind. We do have Rule 4 to help with that, which is no loud noises is in there. So we're going to talk about fighting some of the distractions. So again, we want to make adjustments to our seat and mirror before we're driving. Now we can adjust them as we're driving, but they should be just little movements like, oh, it's not quite right where I like it, so just a quick little movement. Having your seat adjusted properly and your mirrors adjusted properly before leaving the yard or leaving en route helps. Checking that tablet and map before. So for those who've never done it, when you come into the login screen that has the route numbers, I should grab a tablet to show this. You can click on the route, not the quick start button, but just on the route, and it will come up with the screen that shows the stops, the students, and the map. So even before you leave en route, you can review it on the tablet and look at all the stops. You can look at the notes. You can look at the map. Again, like I said, when you get to a stop, make sure the tablet gets itself set for the next stop before driving away, so that way you're not driving down the road trying to play around with the tablet. I know I found myself doing it, and it is quite a distraction. Turn off, silence, or leave your cell phone. Mine just sits in my pocket, and I've had it ring, but I don't answer it or anything. Sometimes I put it on drive mode so everything goes to voicemail, or if they send me a text message that says, I'm driving right now, and I'll get back to you when I'm done. Again, minimize that radio use, AM, FM, and two-way radio. I mean, it's up to you how you want to use your AM, FM radio on your bus, which is fine. We don't have a policy against it. In my experience, I found if you turn that on, the kids' voices all elevate, and now you're starting to have that auditory distraction in the back of the bus as everybody gets louder, and not everybody wants to listen to the radio. Some people want to talk to their friends. Don't multitask while driving. And within reason. Obviously, we have to do multiple things as we're driving down the road, maintaining student control and all that stuff. But try to do the best you can to just stay on task of driving. Eat and drink before route, so that way you're not hungry, thirsty, which can cause distractions while you're driving. You're like, oh man, my tummy's so hungry, and then you look up and there's a deer right there.
There's a deer.
Deer.
Oh, I think there was a deer right there. I'm going, okay, Alex. I know I'm paying attention.
Are you drowsy?
No.
Are you sure?
I just want.
Maybe she wants a beer.
We're almost done. It's going to be like a half
No,
hour.
not you.
Oh, that.
Yeah.
Yes. Again, the code of conduct, our big 6 rules. Rule number 4, does have that no loud noises in there, so keep that in mind. You can tell a kid that they need to keep it down.
Even shrill, I have a little fourth grader that has the shrillest
Yes, I know.
Braxton.
Yes.
Oh my
I told him
God.
to stop because it was annoying.
His voice is so shrill and loud and he laughs and he's,
Oh, I thought you were just talking about there's some girls on there that squeak too.
Oh,
Got a lot of
God.
girls have that where they're like, "Ee," or whatever. I can't do it, so.
unreal.
It's duct tape.
Well, I'm gonna maybe try that.
So again, despite the hands-free laws that we have in place, I mean, cell phone use while people are driving, it's everywhere, and they're not paying attention. They're swerving out of lane. It's terrible. Again, 1 in 5 deaths involve distracted drivers that weren't in vehicles. So they are walking, riding bikes, going across the crosswalk, and they get hit by that person on their cell phone because they're not paying attention. More than 3,000 people die in crashes involving a distracted driver every year. Again, more than 400,000 serious injuries are caused by cell phone use alone. That's a lot. It just shows you, even though many places in the U.S. have had laws on the books for years, way longer than Idaho, it's still, people are tethered to their phones and can't just set them down for a 30-minute drive. It's funny, I left my phone at home yesterday when I did afternoon route. It felt kind of weird because I didn't, like I usually check the time before I go out the route. I don't trust these clocks.
That clock's way off.
No, it's not.
It's only a minute off. It's a minute fast now.
See, it's a minute fast if
was.
anything. It
Well,
was.
2 minutes
but
behind.
some tall guy reached up there.
I appreciate that.
Hey, just so you know, there is a ladder out right there that you can
Yeah.
Oh,
get up.
yeah. Well, you come in, you got 5 minutes to take a leak, and you look, and you all of a sudden you're late.
I had it. It was bad before because it would say like 9:09, and I'd go out to the bus, and bus ride would be like, oh, it's 9:13. I'm like, whoa. So, 39% of high school students have texted or emailed while driving. So again, we're around those kids in those cars, in the parking lots, on the roadways, because we're out at the same time. So be aware. Kids are the worst drivers. I don't know how many of you have seen these kids speeding in and out of that parking lot. I've caught my own daughter doing it, and then she'll be like, Dad, I'm not doing it. I'm like, yeah, you are. I've seen her do it. It's terrible. She's not as bad as some, but she's still a little,
No, she's definitely not.
she's still a little too fast for my, and I've watched her go around corners, like Cedar and Division, and she's just like, yo. I'm like, that is not how I taught you,
Oh, I
kid.
was doing that in Math and Am the other day.
It's also more common among the older students. Higher percentage of drivers ages 15 to 20 are distracted than those drivers over 21. Maybe something about aging and maturity level plays a part in that. And distracted driving is the most common cause of car accidents. Oh, wow, that was really short.
We still got an hour. It was almost. 30
Half hour.
minutes.
Almost. And then we'll call
So,
it.
we'll call it 9:15.
We'll call it an hour.
Well, most of you have most of your training for the year, so good job.
We were committed to
Oh,
1
no,
hour.
that's not enough.
So, any questions?
I just wanted to say something about sleep apnea. I have it, and through our school district insurance, there could be a nominal fee, but basically the school district insurance paid for my doctor to make a referral to Coeur d'Alene Sleep Clinic, and then the machine is on a rental basis, but our insurance does a great job with that machine. So if you think you have it, or someone thinks you have it, then it's basically covered.
Yeah, we have great insurance. That's how you cover your family. Well, it's still great, it just costs an arm and a leg. Anything else?
That's it.
That's it. Half an hour.
Yeah.
So half an hour for both?